Thanks for joining us for another edition of Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne. I want to talk about human rights issues, specifically as they concern the Legal Aid Council. And we have today with us the Executive Director of the Legal Aid Council, Mr. Hugh Faulkner. He'll be telling us about the work of this important instrument of human rights promotion and protection. We thank you so much for your company. Mr. Faulkner, good to have you on the show.
Right, thank you very much, Mr. Boyne.
I think we should begin by talking about the main responsibilities of the Legal Aid Council.
Yes, well, the Legal Aid Act mandates us to oversee the delivery of legal aid services to the island of Jamaica. And the end result, Mr. Boyne, is to ensure that all Jamaicans have access to justice, regardless of your financial means. And so all Jamaican citizens are entitled to legal representation for their criminal matters. And the fact that you are without resources should not inhibit you from accessing justice.
But what about not just the access, but the quality of justice? Because the fact that I am poor will mean if I come through legal aid, I am not going to get the best legal expertise at all. I'm likely to get some neophyte lawyer, or some lawyer who can't find any job.
Yes.
Is that so?
Well, Mr. Boyne, that was a perception that precedes me and precedes many years, but we
That's
have
not the fact?
sought to change that. The Jamaican citizen who is charged with murder and to stand trial, if you access the Legal Aid Council, we only assign senior counsel 10 years or more.
Is that so?
Yes, sir. And not only that, to give the ordinary citizen a lawyer may not be enough to secure justice for him. You may recall the O.J. Simpson case. O.J. Simpson had Mr. Johnny Cochran, he had Dershowitz, he had Shapiro, etc.
Yes, right.
But
Top lawyers.
O.J. Simpson also needed to hire experts. So we have found that the ordinary citizen, sometimes apart from giving them a senior counsel, they also need forensic or expert assistance, and we undertake to pay for that. And we have done that.
You have done that?
Yes, sir. So even in a matter that a gentleman was convicted for a sexual offense at the circuit court level, we approached the appeal court through fresh evidence, and we paid for DNA to be done for him, and he was
Which led to his acquittal?
Yes, sir. At appeal, he was successful on his appeal. In the Farmer Greg case, which was a pig farmer in St. Catherine, he was murdered some years ago. And the 3 accused men, we provided senior counsel, but not only that, we provided a professional photographer to photograph the locus. And we also provided a surveyor who did a diagram of the distances to make available for the court. And those men were also acquitted.
So you pay for the services
of the
which
lawyer,
could lead to information, which could provide information.
Yes. To sway a jury.
To assist in justice.
Yes.
Right. So we should not think in terms of legal aid services as inferior services.
The new paradigm, sir, is that quality service. Quality service. Because that is the only way we can be satisfied that you're fulfilling the legal and moral obligation. If you do not do that, Mr. Boyne, then the person who is blessed with financial resources
will have an advantage.
Absolutely. And you are mindful, sir, that a criminal conviction can impair you not only to get a job, but even to commence training in certain professions. It also impairs travel to many jurisdictions. So it is important that the ordinary citizen has access to justice and the supporting entities
facilities
to facilitate
and services.
his proof of his innocence.
And you were telling me off here that you have employed even QCs.
Yes.
On the case.
Right. Currently, there's a case with a senior journalist, retired journalist, who was unfortunately murdered earlier this year.
Yes.
And we sympathize with the death of any citizen, sir.
Yes.
But we have a duty that the person who is charged gets
Yes,
the
yes.
best representation. And in that particular matter, at the parish court level for the committal proceedings, we have a Queen's Counsel, representing the gentleman, and he has been granted bail.
And less citizens think, Mr. Faulkner, that why is the government spending money to acquit murderers? And you know, we have a serious crime problem. You know, where's the government's priority? Really, we should make the point that the state should ensure that we are convicting the right persons and we are not convicting innocent persons.
That is so, sir.
And the legal aid
That is so,
council
sir.
works
Because
in that.
the justice system operates under the concept
Presumption of
that
innocence.
it is better 99 persons are acquitted than one innocent man
person.
is incarcerated, sir.
Yes.
And so the citizen is entitled to due process.
Yes.
That due process cannot be guaranteed if you are a person of significance, as the society would put it.
Yes.
It must be guaranteed to every citizen.
Yes,
So
that's right.
every citizen must have legal representation at the very outset at question and answer.
Yes.
If you are in police custody, you must be entitled to legal representation and have conference with your lawyer within sight of the police, but not within hearing, so that confidentiality exists. If you're in custody and need medical attention, so you must have access to your lawyer, access to your doctor. So all of those we ensure. Minors should not be kept at adult lockups. So that's one of our rapid response process. We have a farm letter. So once we know of a minor in custody, we rapidly produce that letter and pass it on to the custody officer that they put the child in a remand suitable for children with recreational facilities, educational facilities, and with a dormitory-like layout.
The Legal Aid Council falls under the Ministry of Justice, whose raison d'etre is to ensure that justice is delivered, and the ministry certainly sees the protection of human rights and the ensuring of the human rights of every Jamaican citizen as being important. The Executive Director of the Legal Aid Council, Hugh Faulkner, is our guest. We take a break, but we'll be right back.
Get legal advice for free. Yes, free! From the Mobile Justice Unit. The Mobile Justice Unit makes scheduled stops in towns across the country, and the unit is open for stops at community meetings and school expos. Get free consultation on matters to do with land, immigration, divorce, job redundancy or termination, custody and maintenance. The Mobile Justice Unit, providing access to timely justice outcomes. To request a visit, contact the Legal Aid Council, 131 Tower Street, downtown Kingston, or call them at 922-3761.
Welcome back. The Executive Director of the Legal Aid Council, Mr. Hugh Faulkner, is our guest. The issue, Mr. Faulkner, of the availability of counsel, do you have enough persons? You have mentioned that you have high-quality counsel, but do you have enough persons to deal with the demand in the area?
Yes. Well, Mr. Boyne, as far as training goes, I do not think it can be challenged that the output of the Norman Manley Law School has expanded tremendously. So thankfully, the profession of law is
well supplied.
Well supplied, sir.
Some would even say oversupplied.
And to that extent, we are confident that for every citizen, we seek that every citizen who is mentally ill, and we are seeking to put that, to enhance our program on that, who is mentally ill and in custody must have a lawyer. And we are thankful for the pool of lawyers and their willingness to provide representation. So we're, in fact, our panel is approximately 643 lawyers.
643?
Some on the list, sir, are lawyers who are awaiting civil legal aid, but at least approximately 400 are available for
Is
criminal
there a
matters.
reluctance by the lawyers, Mr. Faulkner, to be involved with the legal aid system? Is there concern that they don't get their compensation
Yes.
on time and so on, and does that affect the program?
Yes. Well, in fairness, there were times when the disbursement of funds you're sure of your payment.
Yes,
but there were times when it was a little slow.
But you're doing better now.
Thankfully, sir, far better.
Far better now.
Because if we're not doing well, you will read it. We will read it too
That's
in the media. Because
So the fact that we haven't heard anything for a
yes,
long
sir,
while.
I take that to mean that the lawyers are comfortable. And not only that, effective April 1, 2015, the rates were increased across the board by about 100%. And more. So that
100%?
again, 100%.
Yes, that provides
Right.
incentive.
Yes. Right.
And some people might think that legal aid services are only offered at the legal aid clinics. But actually, every court is mandated
Yes.
to offer service to those who are accused.
Yes, and that is necessary, sir, because when the citizen stands up, again, we're reminded that a criminal matter can cause you to lose your liberty, lose your job, and impair your ability to earn.
Yes.
When the parent cannot earn, children suffer, their schooling, etc. So the parish judge, every parish judge, a gentleman stands up, charged with any serious criminal matter, can inquire, why are you without a lawyer? And direct that this person be interviewed for legal aid to be granted. And we rather err in granting the wrong person than to deny you, sir. So we accept the information you provide, that at the moment, your resource is not so strong, and we grant you legal aid. If you are fooling us, so be it. But we rather err on the side of ensuring that you have representation.
So every Jamaican citizen can know that if he is wrongly accused, if through mischief, people call up his name wrongly, that the state is there.
Yes, from the moment, Mr. Boyne, from the moment you are taken into custody, duty counsel, our duty counsel panel, which is the same body of lawyers, must respond to you. And that's why we have to treat it as a rapid response matter against a citizen is losing his or her liberty. So if the legal aid counsel gets information that John Brown is to do Q&A at 3 today, we have to do everything to facilitate that rather than put it to the next day. To put it to the next day would mean you're causing a citizen to spend an extra night in custody when he could have been questioned and freed. If he's to be charged, then at least you would have gotten that, and you put pressure on the police to charge a person so that he can either be granted station bail or taken to court in a timely manner where a bail application can be made.
How many persons would have access legal aid services who would have used the facilities of the Legal Aid Council and it's
well, just for the financial year that ended March 31, 2017, just for the duty counsel aspect where you are taken into custody and you get a lawyer up to your first court date, we represented 3,030 Jamaicans. And for matters we completed in gun court, circuit court, we completed approximately 2,300 plus appeal matters. And I have mentioned consultation because that's numerous. Those are just persons who call seeking guidance.
You give that?
Yes, we give that.
We can call.
Yes, the clinics.
Clinics to give information.
Give consultation.
I know a number of divorce cases come through the clinics.
Yes, in fact, until statistics to the contrary come my way, I believe the clinics are the leading output points for divorce matters.
For divorce cases.
Yes,
because your rates are better than the commercial rates. Of course, we're not encouraging divorce.
No, we wish.
But yes, we wish that they would be.
Marriages will last.
Would last, and there'll be few
But
cases.
sometimes the separation may be for the peace
For
of
the
mind
good.
and the
Yes,
good
yes.
of both
And in that
parties.
case, the
Yes.
legal aid clinic helps.
Yes, sir.
You also have a mobile justice unit. Tell us about
Yes, that
that.
mobile justice unit, and we're grateful to the Ministry of Justice and the partners under the Citizen Security and Justice Program or overseas agencies,
Yes.
the US, Canada, Britain, etc. Since January 17, 2017, we have a mobile unit, and our mandate is to visit 50 communities. And these are communities that we believe, need the services, access to justice services. Because, as you're mindful, Mr. Boyne, Montego Bay has a legal aid clinic.
Yes.
Norman Manley Law School has a teaching legal aid clinic, and Kingston Legal Aid Clinic.
That's right.
So you would be aware immediately that there are a number of communities that are not even within
Underserved.
50 miles
Yes, yes.
of a clinic.
Yes.
So the mobile unit helps you to reach those persons.
So they would go in there for what period? And
Yes, we go to the communities and spend an entire day
Spend
in
the day
those
there.
communities.
so people come and they ask
Yes.
questions. Or
So
they,
for the first, between January 17 and March 31, approximately 456 persons would have accessed the services of the unit. We have off days where you follow up with the matters, etc. And in a few instances, sometimes, we have to reschedule depending on
yes.
unrest, etc. in the communities. But for the most part, we honor
And
our
50
commitment.
communities will be visited by the
Yes, sir.
mobile
Yes.
justice
For the
unit.
financial year.
Good. Well, the Legal Aid Council seems to be doing a critical work, performing critical functions and promoting human rights.
Right. We think we are morally and legally bound to do so, because no community, no country
Yes.
can be sustained in terms of peace and social harmony. Where justice is only the,
For those who can afford it.
That's right, sir.
Good. Mr. Hugh Faulkner is the Executive Director of the Legal Aid Council, which falls on the Ministry of Justice. And the Ministry of Justice is interested in promoting and protecting human rights. The state is interested in promoting and protecting human rights. Next week, I'll be back. Until then, Ian Bourne wishing you a very pleasant day.